Imagine waking up tomorrow and every animal on Earth could just talk. Your dog, your neighbor's cat, the pigeons outside your window, the aphids in your garden, all of them suddenly fluent with opinions, grievances, and things they've been holding back. You'd think it'd be kind of wholesome, right? Like a nature documentary with subtitles. It would not be wholesome. This video is about what would actually happen if animals could speak. And it's a lot weirder, funnier, and more terrifying than you're picturing. Most people imagine their dog saying, "I love you," or their cat admitting it tolerates them, but the real conversation would be nothing like that, because the animals with the most interesting things to say are not the ones you're thinking about. And the last one on this list is so strange, so cosmically unsettling, that I genuinely had to sit with it for a minute before I could explain it. We'll get there. Let's start with one that would turn your backyard into an active war zone. Picture a garden on a sunny Tuesday afternoon. Roses, maybe a vegetable patch. A ladybug lands on a leaf. Cute, right? Now imagine what's already living on that leaf. Aphids, those tiny, almost invisible sap-sucking insects, are everywhere in that garden, and there are thousands of them. When a real aphid gets attacked, it releases an alarm pheromone that signals nearby aphids to drop off the plant. It's their version of an emergency broadcast. Now give them voices. Your garden would become a non-stop, high-pitched psychological warfare zone. The moment that ladybug lands, you'd hear thousands of microscopic voices screaming in perfect synchronization. "System breach on Sector 4, eject, eject." A deafening, invisible wall of tiny panic erupting from every rosebush and tomato plant you own. Every single time, all day, gardening would become a form of psychological torture. And the worst part is, the aphids aren't even doing it to be dramatic. They're just extremely committed to the bit. But the garden chaos is nothing compared to what would happen in the African forest. There's a bird called the greater honey guide, and it has one of the most remarkable arrangements in the animal kingdom. It's a small African bird that leads humans to wild bees' nests, and once the humans crack the nest open to collect the honey guides eat the newly exposed beeswax. What makes this wild is that it involves free-living animals whose interactions with humans have probably evolved through natural selection, probably over hundreds of thousands of years. Research found that about 3/4 of wild honey harvested in some regions is found with the help of honey guides. So these birds have been running this operation since before recorded history. They know where the hives are, they know humans will do the hard work, and they expect their cut. Give them language and they stop being charming wildlife. They become aggressive, unionized gig workers. Picture walking into the bush and immediately getting screamed at by a 4-inch bird demanding to renegotiate the wax percentage. Moving too slowly? It's insulting you. You took a little extra honey last time? It remembers. It has notes. The honey guide doesn't want to thank you. It wants a contract. Now, here's where things start getting genuinely uncomfortable. Let's talk about the ocean. Specifically the part of the ocean where you'd never want to be if animals could talk. The mimic octopus doesn't just use camouflage. It actively impersonates specific toxic creatures, lionfish, sea snakes, flatfish, depending on which predator happens to be nearby. It reads the room and becomes whoever is most terrifying in that moment. If it could talk, it wouldn't just look like a sea snake. It would adopt the exact voice, the exact personality, and the exact specific threats of a sea snake. Every other creature in its vicinity would be in a permanent state of paranoia about who is actually who. Is that a sea snake? Is it the octopus? Is the octopus pretending to be a sea snake, pretending to be the octopus? The ocean would be a full-time existential crisis. And speaking of things that should not be allowed to have opinions, cleaner rasa. These are tiny fish that set up cleaning stations on coral reefs, where larger predatory fish line up to have parasites nibbled off their scales. It's a whole ecosystem service. The problem is, the wrassie sometimes cheat. They bite off a layer of the fish's protective mucus instead because it tastes better. If they could talk, the coral reef would sound like the most chaotic customer service desk you've ever witnessed. A giant grouper threatening to leave a 1-star review, or just eat the staff, while the wrassie frantically apologizes and tries to save the business. Every reef, all day. The ocean has enough problems. We're about halfway through, and I want to remind you, the one I promised at the start, the one that's genuinely hard to wrap your head around, is still coming. Keep going. Let's go underground for a second because naked mole rats deserve their own moment. These virtually blind animals communicate underground through squeaks, grunts, and chirps, and have an accent that is determined by the queen of each colony. Their unique dialect lets soldiers efficiently defend the colony. When one mole rat encounters another, the accent of its chirps reveals whether the other mole rat is a colony member or a stranger. And if it's a stranger, soldiers will either block tunnels or use their large teeth to fight off the intruder. If a mole rat comes from a different colony, within minutes it's recognized and usually killed by the colony it invades. Now translate that into human speech. Their dark underground tunnels become a tense, dystopian thriller where a single mispronounced word is a death sentence. An outsider trying to sneak into Colony A doesn't get caught by a camera, it gets caught by saying water slightly wrong. The mole rat dialects can even disappear as society changes. When 2 queens were overthrown and killed during experiments, the dialects of their colonies faded until a new queen was selected and a new one was established. So not only are they executing intruders over grammar, the entire language resets every time there is a political coup. It's Lord of the Flies, but underground, and everyone is mostly blind. Okay. African gray parrots. This one hits different if you've ever been in a house with one. These birds don't just repeat sounds, they understand cognitive concepts, and they can live for over 60 years. They outlive their owners, they get passed down through families, sold to new homes, and they carry everything they've ever heard with them. Give them perfect human speech, and they become the most dangerous liability in any household. Not because they're aggressive, because they remember every argument your grandparents had behind closed doors, every financial decision that was never supposed to leave that room, every secret that 3 generations of your family assumed died with the people who said it. The parrot heard it, the parrot remembers, and the parrot will absolutely tell the new owners. Now let's go to Australia for a second because the lyrebird deserves to be in this conversation. This bird is already one of the most unsettling things in nature. It can flawlessly mimic chainsaws, car alarms, camera shutters, crying babies. If it could talk, it wouldn't speak for itself. It would act as a living recorder of human history in its forest. It would repeat in perfect human voices the exact conversations of loggers who cut down its habitat decades ago. Imagine hiking through the Australian bush and hearing a disembodied voice in the trees, clear, specific, human, recounting a conversation from 1987. That's not a horror movie premise, that's just a lyrebird with language. Before we get to the last one, if you're enjoying this, drop a comment with which animal you think would be the most chaotic if it could suddenly talk. And if you want more videos like this, subscribing takes 2 seconds and it genuinely helps more people find this stuff. Now, the one I've been holding back, Greenland sharks. These animals live in the freezing, pitch-black depths of the Arctic, moving at an almost imperceptible crawl. They are also, depending on the individual, somewhere between 200 and 500 years old. Some of them were alive before the American Revolution, before the Industrial Revolution, before most of the countries on Earth existed as countries. If they could talk, they would not care about a single thing happening in the modern world. They would speak in slow, deep monologues about ocean conditions from the 1600s. They would reference the Industrial Revolution the way your grandparent references a minor inconvenience from decades ago. Yes, things got a bit loud for a while there, it passed. They would be completely indifferent to human civilization, not out of hostility, but out of sheer geological boredom. And here's the part that makes it genuinely unsettling. Infrasound, the kind of low-frequency sound whales and large marine animals produce, can move through the air and solid materials, traveling long distances and passing through buildings, walls, and even human tissue. What sets it apart is its ability to create physical sensations rather than audible noise. People can feel pressure in their chest, sense vibrations, or become deeply unsettled without being aware that sound is the cause. A Greenland shark speaking in full sentences in those sub-bass frequencies from the deep ocean wouldn't just be heard, it would be felt. Coastal cities would experience unexplained dread, buildings would hum, people miles inland would feel vaguely wrong and not know why, and the shark would just be complaining about how things were quieter in the 1700s. So here's where we landed. Aphids would turn your garden into a military operation. Honey guides would immediately form a union and start yelling about contract terms. The mimic octopus would gaslight the entire ocean. Cleaner Rossi would run the most chaotic small business on the reef. Naked mole rats would execute you for your accent. Parrots would expose every secret your family ever kept. Lyrebirds would haunt forests with the voices of people long gone. And Greenland sharks, ancient, indifferent, cosmically unbothered, would make coastal cities feel existential dread just by having a slow conversation about nothing. At the start of this, you probably imagined your dog finally telling you it loves you. And maybe it would. But while that's happening, somewhere in the Arctic, a 400-year-old shark is slowly, deeply, and completely indifferently describing what the ocean smelled like before steamships. And you would feel it in your chest without knowing why. If you want to keep going down this rabbit hole, there's a video right over here that gets into more animal behavior that sounds completely made up but is absolutely real. You're gonna want to watch it.